I Want to Eat Your Pancreas begins by showing a male teacher named Haruki Shiga, who is teaching his students in a class. Before becoming a teacher, Haruki had been one of the students at the high school and was known as a loner and a bookworm. During high school, Haruki spent a lot of time reading books in the library and was a member of the school library committee. That's why the school library is a place that holds many memories and leaves many impressions on him. After Haruki became a teacher several years later, the school decided to demolish the library building and move all the books to another building. After hearing the news about it, Haruki feels sad and intends to resign from the place. But before he left school, the principal had asked him for help organizing and sorting the book collection in the library, so Haruki had to postpone his resignation. That day, Haruki returned to the library building to complete his last assignment and spent his last moments in a place full of beautiful memories. The library is a very valuable place for him, because it is where he often spends time with the girl he loves dearly, named Sakura Yamoji. Sakura is a sweet and cheerful girl who is very popular at her school. In the last few months before her death, she often visited the library to approach Haruki and talk to him. In the past, Sakura showed interest in Haruki and often teased him about getting his attention. But at that time, Haruki, who was stiff and used to aloof, was still not interested in Sakura. He initially considered Sakura a nuisance because she often played around and kept bugging him. Sakura has many friends in class, while Haruki is used to being alone and is often ostracized by his friends. Although Sakura never invites Haruki to talk in class, she always tries to accompany and be friends with him. One day, when Haruki was undergoing a medical examination at the hospital, he accidentally found a notebook left in the hospital lobby. He then picked it up and read a few pages from the notebook. In the book, it was written that the owner of the notebook was someone who was suffering from a deadly disease and her remaining life was not long. Shortly after, Sakura came to Haruki and asked him to return the notebook. It turns out that the notebook's owner is Sakura, which means that she is currently suffering from a deadly disease. Knowing this, Haruki was shocked and couldn't believe it. But he tried to act normal and immediately apologized while returning the book. When they sat together, Sakura explained that her pancreas was not functioning properly at the moment, so she had to take medicine regularly and have her body checked at the hospital. Hearing all that, Haruki was silent and didn't say anything. Seeing Haruki's flat reaction, Sakura chuckled because she thought that Haruki's reaction was hilarious. At school, Sakura has a best friend named Kyoko who always accompanies her and loves her very much. But Sakura chooses to keep her illness a secret from Kyoko because she doesn't want Kyoko to be worried and have a hard time. The only schoolmate of Sakura who knows about her illness is Haruki. A few days later, Sakura registers herself as a library committee member so she can get closer to Haruki. Haruki thought that Sakura did that because she was afraid the secret about her illness would be exposed. Still, Haruki immediately reassured Sakura that he would not tell anyone about her illness. Hearing that, Sakura said that she applied for this job because she wanted to do something fun for the rest of her short life. Sakura then invites Haruki to accompany her to a place she really wants to go. She wished that Haruki could accompany her on her list of things she really wanted before she died. Haruki was initially reluctant, but in the end he was willing to accept Sakura's request. At the end of the week, Haruki came and waited at the place that had been told by Sakura. Moments later, Sakura arrived with her usual cheerful smile. After learning about her short age, she then asked Haruki why he was still acting normal. Haruki then replied that he couldn't show his sadness because Sakura herself could still smile brightly and act as if nothing had happened. That day, Sakura took Haruki on a date and had dinner together at a famous cafe that was once recommended by Kyoko. While waiting for their food to be served, Sakura then told Haruki about her best friend, Kyoko. Sakura claims to have been friends with Kyoko since they were in middle school, and Kyoko is quite possessive when it comes to the people she cares about. According to her, Kyoko might be very upset when she finds out about the closeness between Sakura and Haruki, who is a boring kid who rarely hangs out in class. On the next day, Haruki's and Sakura's classmates learned about the dating rumors between Sakura and Haruki. Their friends looked shocked and couldn't believe that a rigid and indifferent person like Haruki could be close to Sakura, who is a very cheerful and popular person at school. Hearing this, Kyoko looked annoyed and immediately asked Haruki to stay away from Sakura. However, Sakura tried to defend Haruki and said that the two of them were close friends. But Haruki, who is uncomfortable with the commotion his classmates make, decides to leave the class and head to the top of the school. Sakura, who felt guilty, immediately chased and approached him. While on the school roof, Haruki asks Sakura not to involve him in her personal affairs anymore. He suggests that Sakura tell Kyoko about her illness so that someone can take care of her. Hearing that, Sakura then explained why she chose to hide her illness because she wanted to live a normal and happy life in her last days. She feels sure that if Kyoko learns about her illness, Kyoko's attitude will change and Sakura's life in high school will no longer be fun. Knowing this, Haruki realized that Sakura had never had anyone to share her story with about her illness. Since the rumors about a date between Sakura and Haruki spread, many students bullied and mistreated Haruki. Haruki's shoes that were previously stored in his locker suddenly disappear, and the novel Sakura borrowed from him is missing. Kyoko still often stares at Haruki cynically. Fortunately, a male student named Gamakun starts greeting Haruki and tries to always accompany him. Gamakun often offers chewing gum to Haruki. During summer vacation, Sakura invites Haruki to go traveling together. They then went by train to various tourist sites and took many photos. Sakura looked happy and enjoyed the opportunity to have fun. They ate various foods that Sakura had previously wanted to try. In the evening, Sakura invites Haruki to go to a hotel and spend the night together. The following day, Kyoko calls Sakura to ask where she had been all night yesterday. Sakura replied that she was currently traveling with Haruki and staying with him at a hotel. Hearing this, Kyoko looked surprised by Sakura's unusual behavior. Then when Sakura and Haruki were about to go back to their respective homes, Sakura asked Haruki to promise to be willing to accompany her during the following summer vacation. At school, Gamakun approached Haruki and gave him his shoes which he had previously found in a trash can. After school, Haruki comes to Sakura's house to apologize for losing her novel. While in Sakura's room, Sakura tried to hug Haruki. Haruki thought that Sakura was asking him to sleep together, but he had misunderstood and made Sakura feel uncomfortable. Realizing that he had made a mistake, Haruki immediately apologized and decided to leave Sakura's house. A few days later, Kyoko approached Haruki and immediately scolded him. She thought that Haruki had hurt Sakura's feelings until she fell ill. Hearing that, Haruki was silent and didn't say anything. When he came home from school, Haruki immediately went to the hospital to visit Sakura and get her checked. After arriving at the room where Sakura was being treated, Haruki immediately asked about her condition. Sakura replied that she was just doing a routine checkup at the moment and in 2 weeks, she would be allowed to go home. In the following days, Haruki always comes to the hospital to visit Sakura. He would usually lend her a textbook and teach her about the day's lesson. Seeing Haruki's talent in teaching, Sakura said that Haruki was very suitable to be a teacher because his explanations were very good and easy to understand. Before Haruki left the hospital, Sakura advised him to start hanging out and be good friends with Kyoko. Sakura will feel happy if the relationship between Haruki and Kyoko becomes closer because they are both people who she really cares about. In the evening, Sakura suddenly calls Haruki and says she wants to see the cherry blossoms bloom. Hearing that, Haruki felt something was wrong with Sakura, so he immediately went to the hospital and sneaked into her room. As it turned out, Sakura just wanted Haruki to accompany her to play cards and spend time together. That night, Haruki realized there was sadness in Sakura's eyes and she needed someone's encouragement. Therefore, Haruki promised Sakura that he would accompany her to see the cherry blossoms in bloom after she was discharged from the hospital. Hearing that, Sakura felt very touched and she immediately hugged him. 2 weeks later, Sakura was finally released from the hospital and returned home. Haruki, who knew this, immediately found out where the cherry blossoms used to bloom. With Gamakun's help, Haruki finally finds a place with a beautiful view of cherry blossoms. Not long after, the day Haruki and Sakura went to see the cherry blossoms had finally arrived. Sakura asks Haruki to meet her at the cafe where they first dated. Haruki, who was excited to meet Sakura, decided to come early and wait for her arrival. On the other hand, Sakura is getting ready and choosing her best clothes for a date with Haruki. She dresses up to show her best appearance in front of him later. She then said goodbye to her mother and left with a luxurious backpack. Sakura looked happy and couldn't wait to meet Haruki. However, after waiting for hours and days getting dark, Sakura still hadn't arrived at the cafe where she was supposed to meet Haruki. Haruki tried to text and contact Sakura, but he didn't get a reply either. That night, disappointed, Haruki decides to go home. On the way home, Haruki saw the news that there had been a stabbing of a girl by an unknown person. The girl was badly injured and lost a lot of blood from the knife stab in her body. Unfortunately, the girl died before arriving at the hospital and could not be saved. It turned out that the girl who was the stabbing victim was Sakura. After knowing that, Haruki felt very broken and sad. He didn't even come to Sakura's funeral and chose to lock himself in his room. Meanwhile, at Sakura's residence, her family and friends are mourning Sakura's passing. Sometime later, Haruki returned to Sakura's house and paid his last respects to Sakura. He then told Sakura's mother that he knew about Sakura's illness. Hearing this, Sakura's mother then gave Sakura's diary to him. Sakura's mother said that previously Sakura used to tell stories about one of her friends who found out about her illness, and she advised her to give her diary to that person. After reading Sakura's diary, Haruki begins to find out that from the start, she did like him even before he knew about her illness. In the book, Sakura wrote all the memories of her time with Haruki, such as their first date, having dinner together, and staying at a hotel. In addition, Sakura wrote about her sadness and the times when she was at her lowest because she began to lose hope. Knowing about all the hardships and loneliness that Sakura is going through, Haruki becomes very sad and misses her very much. Since that day, Haruki slowly began to change into a better person. Haruki, who initially doesn't really care about other people, now becomes more sensitive and cares about his environment. He chose to become a teacher because of Sakura's previous words. The scene returns to the present, where Haruki and the other students are preparing to transfer all the books that have been sorted. That day, Haruki accidentally finds a novel that was previously given to him by Sakura. It turned out that Sakura had left the book in the library because she was sure that Haruki would find it one day. In the book, Sakura left 2 letters, one for Kyoko and one for Haruki. Haruki immediately ran to give the letter to Kyoko, who was about to marry Gamakun. In the letter, Sakura finally tells Kyoko about her illness and why she hid it from her. Sakura loves Kyoko very much and doesn't want to turn her days into gloomy and worried ones. She left a message asking Kyoko to be good friends with Haruki. After that, Haruki returned to school and immediately tore up his resignation letter. It turns out that he decided to stay as a teacher at the school because of the letter Sakura left him. Sakura tells Haruki to live a better life and spread the courage that he has to everyone who needs it. The moral that can be learned from this movie is to live life happily and give a positive spirit to many people around us.